Okay, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, before I begin with this lesson, I want to start by giving all praises, honor, and glory to our power Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakakwadash. Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father, who the world ignorantly calls God. Yahweh Shai is the name of his only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus. Double honors to the apostles, the elders at Great Millstone who do rule well and teach well. Shalom to the hopeful elect and you I command you brothers pushing this word throughout the four corners of the earth with all truth and sincerity, making your calling and election sure, man. Hey, shalom. And Shalaki, man, I may sound a little bit raspy, but it's all good. And this is going to be a quick lesson entitled Multicultural, because as me and the elder was out there teaching this past Sunday, you had a Southern Kingdom Jake, most likely referring to me and calling me, multicultural in a derogatory, way, to say that all Israel is so-called Negroes, which we know that's not so. Okay, and on top of that, we know that color isn't even a thing of this, ministry. Yes, for the most part, and at one point, all Israel were men of color. Okay, but through our captivities and the curses of Deuteronomy the 28th chapter, it said that we're going to be scattered into all these other nations. And Northern Kingdom in particular, what do? Ephraim, he has mixed himself amongst the nations, and we're going to go ahead and get that. And the way you know that precept is going into, skin tone, it talks about how they are a cake not turned. For the most part, when you make batter, what color is it? It's like palish white. If you leave it, and don't turn the pancake, one side is going to be what? Real dark, real brown. But the raw side is going to be what? It's going to be really light, pale, white, quote unquote. Okay? And nonetheless, this is the book of Numbers, chapter 1, and verse Salakia. And verse 18. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees. Let's go into that word pedigrees before we go on in this verse. All right. This is pedigrees in the Blue Letter Bible. Salakia. There it is.
Strong's H3205. Yalad.
Pedigree, to bear, bring forth, of childbirth, gender, travail, all right? Day of birth, to declare one's birth. All right, let's see. So yeah, they declared their pedigrees, their child, after their families, by the house of their what? Their fathers, according to the number of the names from 20 years old and upward, by their polls. Okay, so this is how you see that even back then, in order for you to even be considered a son of an Israelite, you would have to be declared by who is your father. Your father has to go back to an Israelite of the 12 tribes in order for you to be a part of the congregation. Okay. And furthermore, proven that Jake, one second. Let me get this. What is it? Ruth. Yep. Here you go. Ruth 1 and 4. And they took them wives of the women of Moab. And the name of the name of the one was Orpah, and the name of the other was Ruth. And they dwelled there about 10 years. All right, let's go into that word Ruth. All right, 1 second. Real quick. And this is how you know the small hatters, those that are claiming to be us now, are not the true people of the scriptures, because they go via the house of their mothers when that's not so. And this proves it. Right here, this is Ruth. There you go. Ruth.
Strong's H 7327. Ruth.
And daughter-in-law of Naomi, wife of Boaz, and great-grandmother of who? Of David. Friend Ruth a Moabitess. There you go. So, was King David multicultural? Are we not going to be under King David in the kingdom of heaven? Come on, man. You Jakes, you're losing the plot here. So, this shows you that our facial features, our physical features, everything really about us has been, being changed. And the reason why the Most High didn't want us to take these other nations back then as wives was because what? Not because of their nationality and what they look like, but because they were going to cause us to worship their gods. That was the main thing. Okay? And real quick, man, before I get it, let's get this. Because this is Jake. Proverbs chapter 1 and verse 22. How long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? And the scorners delight in their scorning, man. You guys get satisfaction when you do that type of shit. Go on, brother's page of the Northern Kingdom that may look lighter and whatnot, may not have all the features of an Israelite from back then, and say all Israel was Negroes, not even realizing that the precepts do not subscribe to that, man. You guys are teaching the precepts of men. The Bible does not subscribe to that. Yes, our Lord, Yahweh and Yahweh Shai are dark-skinned men with woolly hair. But you know who are also dark-skinned men with woolly hair? Ham. And who is not going to make it? Ham. Who's going to be in the kingdom as servitudes unto Jake? Ham. Let's get this, man. The Zondervan Bible Dictionary of Ham. Is it Zondervan's Bible Dictionary? I put KJV. Muscle memory. Real quick. Just to kind of throw this out there. Here you go. This is the Zondervan's Compact Bible Dictionary. Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of the 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor of the dark races, not the who? Not the Negroes, but the Egyptians, the Ethiopians, the Libyans, and the Canaanites. There you go. So all that Negro stuff, melanin this and melanin can take you to the kingdom and so on and so forth. That shit don't mean nothing, man. It doesn't mean shit. If you're not given this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding and doing your works, studying, reading, going out to the highways and the hedges, congregating with brothers, and really being a sincere brother in this thing, then it doesn't matter whether you have woolly hair and brown skin. Or if you know you're an Israelite and you may look different. It doesn't matter. If you're not doing the will of the Heavenly Father, you're not going to make it. If you don't have the names, Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, if you don't have the right doctrine, you're not going to make it. That's in the book of Ezekiel, the 33rd chapter, man. All right. So let's get this, man. Bear with me. Brothers know where I'm going with this. This is the book of Hosea, chapter 7, and verse. I can just get to the point. Verse 8. Ephraim, he hath mixed himself among the people. You see that happening right now in today's day, man. Northern Kingdom, the so-called, the Latino tribes. If you get a so-called white woman, blonde hair and blue eyes, to you, that is a trophy, man. That is like the best thing that's ever happened to you. And there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it, man. It's not unlawful. You can get with the Edomites. You can get with the other nations. You just can't marry them. But they can be your concubines. All right? There's nothing wrong with it. But the thing is that you see that happening to this day. But we already established that what? Your seed line. Whether in order for you to be considered an Israelite, your father has to be an Israelite. You are what your father is, man. There's no such thing as mixing and mingling. All right? That's not subscribed by the scriptures. And you small hatters, you go by what? You go by the house of your mothers. That's not in the scriptures. Because what? King David, his mom or his great-grandma was a Moabitess. So if that was the case, he would not be considered a what? An Israelite. But we understand and know that he is an Israelite. Come on, bro. So that's out the window. All right? And furthermore, man, you Northern Kingdom tribes, you guys have been mixing and mingling with other nations, man. And really, a lot of, Northern Kingdom, man, we just love, how you say, white women, man, light-skinned women, pale women. Hosea 7:8. Ephraim, he had mixed himself among the people. Ephraim, meaning the Northern Kingdom, is a cake not turned. So he has mixed himself among the people. So now he's coming out looking different. And this was happening all the way back then in this time. Now, case in point, let's look at Blake Griffin for an example. He is what? He would be considered a Levite in the kingdom or in Israel back then. But if you look at his son, you would have a simple as Jake, a simple as all black Hebrew Israelite Jake, tell you that he's not an Israelite when he grows up because he has blonde hair and blue eyes and light skin. Not realizing that his forefather goes back to a Levite. He would be a Levite, man, looking like that. So this is what you people gotta understand, man. You gotta stop being so simple, so color based. So that shit it's not scriptural, man. It doesn't fit nowhere, man. We have been scattered amongst all nations. Why do you think there's a parable? Let's get it, and I'll close on here. I don't want to make it too long. This is really, man, it shouldn't be too. Let me get this, man. Before I get this parable, this should be what? Plain unto you. Is it holy? Yeah, holy. Salaki, I put righteous. Sirach 39:24. As his ways are plain unto the holy, so are they stumbling blocks unto the wicked. Hey, for you that is able to receive this and understand this, and it's kind of, because this is not hard to understand and see. Once you get the understanding that Israel is determined by the house of their fathers, that we can really come in looking like anything under the sun. If you can't still grasp that, then guess what, man? That means you're a 2/3, and you're just going to be wicked. That's a stumbling block into you. Ain't no way they can be Israelites. I seen on TikTok, they had said, ain't no way that Mexicans can be Israelites. They have their own land. They have their own government and yada, yada. Hold on, but doesn't Benjamin, the so-called Jamaicans, have their own quote-unquote land and own government? Levi, own land and own government, quote-unquote? Because we understand that Jake doesn't really run these these lands. It's Amalek. We all know this. So all these stupid talking points don't hold no weight. All you got to do is go into the scriptures and show them. Sirach 39:24, as his ways are plain unto the holy man. This should be easy to grasp, man. So are they stumbling blocks unto the wicked. All right, that's pretty much the point on that. And let's get Matthew's the 13th chapter, because the same thing goes. Now you may say, but how do we know that our forefathers doesn't go back to a heathen? And the thing is we don't know that. The only way we can really solidify our salvation in this thing is what? Through faith, and by our works, and by the names of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, and the understanding of this, man. This is why it says in the book of, let's get it, and then I'll go into this. Bear with me. This is the book of Hebrews 4:12. For the word of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword. This is how we know if we're an Israelite, man, about how you resonate with this truth. Okay, this is what determines you being an Israelite or not, man. A heathen, the name of the Lord is dreadful among the heathen. Okay? But for you, regardless of what you look like, man, you can have the chinkiest eyes, the palest skin, the straightest blonde hair, but you hear this word, you believe on it, you pray to Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, you go out and teach and you do what you need to do, then consider yourself a what? An Israelite, man, regardless of what you look like. All right? That's what you guys got to understand. It's this word that deciphers whether you're an Israelite or not, man, not what you look like. All right? That's something you guys get mixed up. Yes, when you read the book of Revelations, the 13th chapter. Yes, when you read, how Jake looked back then. When you read precepts like, the gates of Judah mourn, and they are, they languish and are black into the ground. That is actually talking about their skin color. That word black in that scripture, it goes back to the word quadar, which means dark skin. So yes, it's talking about skin. It's not no metaphor. It's not none of that. All right. So Hebrews 4:12, for the word of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit, and of the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and the intents of the heart, man, of your mind. This is what tells us if you're an Israelite or not, man, how you receive this truth. And guess what? This also determines how we know whether you're of the elect or the 2/3. About how you receive this word, and not only receive it, but how you treat it, man. And this is why you have the parable of Matthew, the 13th chapter, because the same thing, the same thought that you guys had when it comes to this topic about, once you get the understanding, how do we know, that we don't go back to our, to another nation and whatnot in this time. Same thing, Matthew 13:24. Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which soweth good seed in his field. But while the man slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. You see? So we understand that during our captivities, we had a lot of these other nations, and it wasn't so often, but it happened where these other nations would go into our women as slaves, and they would bear kids, and guess what? They would have facial features of an Israelite. Curly hair, same skin tone, same body, same complexion, so on and so forth. But guess what? Their forefathers go back to the heathen. There are what? Tares. The enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. This happened, yes. Of course, we know that. Verse 26. But when the blade was sprung up and brought forth, is this word not sharper than any two-edged sword? But when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also. Verse 27. So the servants of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, didst not thou sow good seed in thy field? From whence then had it tares? He said unto him, an enemy has done this. And this is how you know who other nations are our enemies. This is the New Testament, by the way. The servants said unto him, wilt thou then that we go and gather them up? Question mark. Shall we still deal with them? Even though they're not Israelites, shall we still go and teach them this word? Because they look like us. Verse 29, but he said, nay, no. Lest while ye gather up the tares, ye root up also the wheat with them. Let both grow together unto the harvest. And in the time of the harvest, I will say to the reapers, gather ye together first the tares, and bind them in bundles to burn them. But gather the wheat into my barn. Man, you tares, you're not going to be able to receive this word. You're not going to be able to fully, grasp. You're just going to, you're a 2/3, man. You're not even Salaki. You're not even 2/3 Salaki. You're a heathen that looks like a Jake. You're a heathen that looks like an Israelite, man. You're a tear. So, with that being said, it'll behoove you to make your calling and election sure doing this work, because guess what? We don't know where our forefathers go back to, but again, going back to the book of Hebrews, this word is what deciphers you to be an Israelite or not, man. So yeah, okay, this is not a color thing. This is not a blood type thing. This is not any of that EC1B. I forgot. I remember they came out with some bullshit like that. This is none of that, man. This is not something carnal. The carnal mind is enmity against the Most High, and is not subject unto him. Let's get that. This is not something carnal. You can't look at it at a man and know he's an Israelite. The way you're gonna know he's an Israelite is by what? The spirit, man. Look at his salt. Look at the way he moves. Look at the way he does things. Look at his swag, so on and so forth. JB saying in the world. Look at the way he carries himself. Romans 8:6, for to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. Because the carnal mind is enmity against Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, for it is not subject to the law of the Most High, neither indeed can be. So then they that are in the flesh cannot please the Most High. You're in the flesh, walking around thinking that just because someone's a Negro, they're automatically an Israelite. Because guess what? That can be his great grandpa can go back to a fucking Moabite, an Edomite, a motherfucking Ishmaelite, so on and so forth, and you over here, hey man, you a brother, yada yada, and then you got a Israelite that looks like another nation, and you over there, because this happens, you're telling them to kiss your boot and shit. You're telling them to fucking bow down already and shit. Whole time he's an Israelite, and you're doing that to him. So man, yeah, Jake, you guys gotta stop being so simple, man. This thing is way deeper than color, man. This thing is way deeper than that. This thing has nothing really to do with color whatsoever, skin tone, body build, none of that. But yes, for the most part, the Southern Kingdom is gonna be a darker people than the Northern Kingdom. The Northern Kingdom has been mixing and mingling from the get-go, before Judah. So, the kingdom of Judah. So, of course, they're going to be looking like Ishmael. A lot of them are like Ishmael. They be going into their women. They're going to be looking like some damn Edomites, because they've been going... Man, same thing that happened to them, that Southern Kingdom in Spain. Them Sicilians. You had Southern Kingdom going to all their women. Yeah, Southern Kingdom going to all of the Edomites women during the Byzantine Empire. And what? What did he say in the movie? He said what? So during the Byzantine Empire, the Dark Ages. Yeah, I said that blonde hair, blue eyes went from blonde hair, blue eyes to brown hair and brown eyes. But guess what? They still had their pale skin, their pale or lighter flesh and straight hair. They would just lick it back. Sicilians, for the most part, a lot of them come from what? From the Southern Kingdom. Judah, Benjamin and Levi. Man, you people don't understand how deep this thing goes. And really, if you're teaching that all the 12 tribes are so-called Negroes, we know we know how do you say, we know where your mind is at, man. We know you're not of the elect. We know what level you're at, man. You're just simply not. The elect have obtained it, but the rest were blinded. You may be able to hear this lesson and say, you know what, that all makes sense. Okay, I mean, read the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. Go into the history. Get some other books, man. Get some other books. You'll understand. They even had, man, it gets so deep. You even had Southern Kingdom on this side during the time of, the Indian slave trade, when Christopher Columbus and them came over here. You even had Southern Kingdom being brought over here and to be translators and whatnot, and to also be servants and whatnot. So the mixing and mingling, bro, this shit has been happening for so long. At this point, if you still can't grasp and get that Israel is not who we used to look like, now we're going to come in all different shapes and sizes and colors, then you need to just put the Bible down and just believe it. Cool, believe that. At the end of the day, it's not going to take you anywhere. At the end of the day, it's not going to matter, because shit's getting ready to hit the fan. And if you're still stuck on that color shit, you're not going to make it. All right, you're on a really low level. So, hey, with that, man, Lord willing, this has been edifying and exhorting. I really wanted to make this just kind of quick and straight to the point. I want to close out by giving all praises, honor, and glory to our power. Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakapadash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders, Agri and Millstone, who do rule well and teach well. Shalom to the hopeful elect, and you Akim, man, your brothers pushing this word throughout the four corners of the earth with all truth and sincerity, making your calling and election.